Welcome back to Just Scribble for part 2 of my VDS unboxing video. So in the first video, we just unboxed my 2 new covers, my passport size complete Nomad Jr. and my A5 Codex. And you got my first impressions, we checked them out, and I tested to make sure that my planner setup, my A5 Wonderland 222 A5 planner, fit into my custom Codex, because that's the planner that I had it customized for. But we didn't go over any of the specific customizations that I had done on these 2 covers. We didn't talk about why I picked the leathers that I picked, what my intended uses for them were, or anything like that. We just opened them up and checked them out because I couldn't wait to unbox them. But I did want to go over all of the details of what I had done to customize these 2 planners in case you were looking to customize a VDS planner as well. So before we get into the specifics of each individual planner, I did just want to talk to you a little bit about the leather. So my A5 Codex is a Janet leather brown on the outside and a velvet sand on the inside. And my passport Nomad Jr. is a Janet leather brown on the outside and a Janet leather undyed on the inside. I had ordered samples of all of the leathers. I think it's 6 or 7 samples that I have. I actually don't have them with me. They are actually at work. That's where I keep them. And I have just been kind of playing with the leather samples and holding on to them. But I think that there were 6 or 7 leathers that I was intrigued by from their leather options. And so I ordered samples from those. And I spent about 6 months trying to figure out which leathers I want. And I immediately knew that Janet leathers were my favorites, and these 3 leathers in particular were my top favorites of the Janet leather. But I couldn't decide which ones I actually wanted to get my covers made out of, so I got all 3. That's really how this happened. I knew that I was in love with Janet leather brown, I was in love with velvet sand, and I was in love with the undyed. And so the easiest thing for me to do, because I couldn't make a decision, was to combine them all into my planners. So I decided to put Janet leather brown on the outsides of both planners because it really is just a classic, gorgeous brown color. And I knew I couldn't go wrong, and I wouldn't be disappointed if that was the exterior of my covers. So I got Janet leather brown on the outside, and then I decided to get the interiors in the other 2 colors. And I picked velvet sand for the interior of my A5 for 2 reasons. One was because it had a lot of space, and so there would be a lot of areas for me to kind of rub and get the tactile experience of velvet sand. And the other reason was because the pockets inside my planner wouldn't get used and touched as much as the pockets in the inside of here. And so I didn't think that the velvet sand would get messed up as easily in this as it would in my little passport cover. And then I decided to put the undyed into my passport size cover because it would get touched more, the pockets would get used more, and it would develop a beautiful patina. So it seemed like the perfect fit for the undyed to be the inside of my passport cover and the velvet sand to be the inside of my A5 cover. Now, I am not going to spray the exterior of either of these covers. I did contemplate for a little bit if I was going to spray them with a protectant. I'm not generally someone that babies their covers, and I don't mind. I actually enjoy the natural change that veg tan leather gets with use and the story it tells. So I'm not going to spray the exterior of these covers, and I'm actually not going to spray the undyed on the interior of this one for the same reason. But I am going to be spraying the interior of this one, which is one of the reasons why my planner is not in it. I'm going to spray it and then put my planner back in it and set it up after it is sprayed and dried. But I am going to be spraying the interior of this because the velvet sand is a sort of suede leather, and I think that it could very easily become dirty or dingy because of that. So I am going to be spraying the interior of this cover, just the interior. And the spray that I'm going to use is from Bickmore. I know a lot of people love Apple Guard and they use Apple Guard. I do know that it has a lot of positive reviews, but it's not a brand that I'm familiar with, and it's not a brand I use for anything else. And Bickmore is a brand that I've been using for years and years, well over 10 years, probably 20 years on different bags and things like that that I have. And we also use their products on my husband's felt hats and other things. And so I bought their Guard More, their water and stain repellent, which is ideal for both suede and leather. And this is what I'm going to be using to spray the interior of this to protect it. So I wanted to just kind of talk about that too. But now we're going to get into the specific customizations that I did, and then we'll talk about how I'm going to use these covers. So we're going to start with the baby. This is my passport size complete Nomad Jr. So like I said, it is Janet Leather Brown on the back, and it has Janet Leather undyed inside. And we're going to go over all the specific customizations that I had done. I do have spreadsheets for both of these covers that list out all of the customizations that I had done, and I will put all of the details down below, like with dimensions and everything like that. I'll put that all down below in the description box, so you'll have that as well. But I just kind of wanted to talk to you about what I did to create this planner. Now this is a passport size complete Nomad Jr, and they just recently this week decided to add passport size as a Nomad option, which I'm so excited about. But I have not checked those measurements against mine to see if they're the same, because I did a specific adjustment to the measurements for this cover, and I don't know that that's the measurements that they're using on theirs. But I think it probably would be easier to custom adjust their passport Nomad that now exists to get to this, if that was something that you wanted to do, whereas I had to take their Nomad Jr, which is like a pocket size, and adjust to get to this. I'm going to go through in the order that my little spreadsheet is in, but I picked Janet Leather Brown for the outside and Janet Leather undyed for the inside. And then one of my customizations was to have the interior strap leather match the exterior. So I wanted Janet Leather Brown on both sides of the strap cover, because when you have it closed, it just looks nicer to not have a different color kind of peeking out. Otherwise, that undyed leather would be really visible right here and just kind of distracting. I did not, however, change the pen loop to be Janet Leather Brown. And when I build another custom cover, which I will, because I will order a B6 cover at some point, I may get the pen loop also to match the exterior cover if I do a combo where the interior and the exterior are two different colors. I don't mind that the pen loop is a different color, but I think it would look even classier if it was all one color. But I'm not 100% sure, so it's something that I'm toying with. That's one of the reasons why I haven't ordered a B6, because I wanted to get my customs, check them out, make sure that I loved them, which I do. And then I wanted to use them for a while and see how I felt about all the things that I had done to these covers, to make sure that I would want to do the same thing for my B6, or if there's something that I would change. So I don't know 100% if I would change the pen loop to match the exterior leather, but I am very glad that I matched the strap. So that is one of the things that I had done. I did have Janet Leather undyed for the stitching color on both sides. So in the exterior and the interior, it is Janet Leather undyed stitching. I debated on this as well, whether or not I wanted the stitching to match or not, but ultimately I decided on the little passport. I wanted that little bit of contrast. And the stitching will get a little darker as I use it, but I wanted that little bit of contrast in my baby passport. So that is another option that I did. I also requested a brown tag. I think the brown tag matches really nice with the undyed leather. So I got a brown tag, not a black tag. I did have no stiffener added to this, so there is no foam in this, and there is a Bontex frame only. They do have to have a frame to stitch, but there's no Bontex sheet in here. So it is just the leather, and you can't actually, like, you can just barely feel the frame. It's super close up here by the stitching. So this is just leather. I didn't want any extra pieces in there. I didn't want a hard piece of stiffener or anything like that. So I specially requested no foam and frame only for Bontex. I did add a junior back pocket to this, and I did that intentionally because this is going to be a planner wallet combo, and this is to hold cash. So the reason that I added the back pocket was for money, so that I can stick money back there. And when I had the back pocket added, I also had the lining flipped. So the faux leather is on the inside, and the sort of felty soft piece is what is exposed. I don't like faux leather at all, and I really don't like it in a pocket because things stick to it, and I don't like the way that it looks, and I don't like the way that it feels. So I had the interior lining of the big back pocket reversed so that you would see the soft side and you would feel the soft side and not the faux leather. I did also change the clasp size. I upgraded to the A5 size chunky clasp. So this is a chunky clasp. I did not go all the way to A4 size. I went back and forth trying to determine whether I wanted the A4 size. And for comparison, the A4 is on my A5 cover. And so if I had gotten the A4, it would have looked like that, which I think is cute and super adorable. But I decided that I didn't really want it to be quite that chunky, so I went with the A5. I actually love both, so I would have been perfectly happy if I had gone with the A4, and I'm perfectly happy with the A5. I just wanted it to be a cute little chunky clasp. I also had an extra female popper added, but I didn't have any extra length added to the strap. I wanted the extra popper so I could loosen or tighten this if things got chunky inside or got really full, but I didn't want the extra strap length because I didn't plan on chunking it up so much that I needed extra strap length. I also modified the layout, so I took the complete Nomad Jr layout and I had them copy the left side to the right side, and I did this because this is going to be a planner wallet combo and I wanted the extra card slots. So I had both sides have the card slots here and then the spots here that I could use as well. So they're identical on both sides. I also had them raise the pen loop and I had them raise it to just above this horizontal pocket. So that's where my pen loop sits. And I did that because I like the way my pen sits that way. This is a full-size pen, and I don't usually carry a full-size pen with my passport, but I most definitely could, and it would fit nicely. But I like the pen up there. I also, let me take this off real quick. I also don't always put my pen in. Sometimes I actually just use the clip of the pen and I clip it on the pen loop. So I put the clip inside the pen loop and I would put it on like that. And it sits better if the pen loop is higher if I do that. I did change the height of this planner from the complete Nomad Jr default, but I did not change the width. The height of a passport insert is 1/2 inch shorter than a pocket insert, but the width is the same. So there was no reason for me to change the width. I just needed to change the height. But when I did that, I had a very specific request and I'm hoping that it works. I adjusted the height so that a passport planner that I have could slip into this pocket, kind of like a folio. And so I could slip a planner into this pocket if I wanted to. And I also adjusted it so that when I put a passport insert on these elastics, it's not pulled on the elastic. I had bought a similarly styled planner from Moterm. They have a passport size planner. It has a full back pocket and it has lots of card pockets and it has elastics for you to put your passport inserts in. And I did not like it at all because the rivets and where the elastic went from top to bottom was shorter than a passport insert. So the elastic was always pulling around the inserts and the inserts were sliding all the time. So I did not like it. So I knew when I got this one that I wanted to make sure that my inserts wouldn't slide around all the time. And I'm gonna grab, this is a passport insert from the Unemployed Philosophers Guild. And I'm just gonna show you. So the rivets are at the top and the bottom of the passport insert. So they are the actual height of the passport insert. So that way it will stay put and it won't move around and the elastic won't be yanking on the edge of my passport inserts and messing up my passport inserts. So that is the reason that I got the height adjustment that I did. And I will put the specific height adjustment changes in the description box down below. I'm not going to give you guys the numbers and all of that during the video, but I'll put it down below so you can grab that if you wanted that as well. And then I'm going to grab my passport planner and we're going to check it out and see if it fits, because that was the other reason for my height change. So I'm going to grab that real quick and we're going to check it out. Okay, so this is my little passport planner. It's from Takahashi Shoten and it has Let me grab it and show you. It has a monthly planner in it, and then it has a weekly horizontal layout. And I got this midway through the year, and I haven't used it as much as I had intended, but my goal in 2023 is to be better about using my little passport planner. But I've been carrying this around in a Sojourner folio, but I'm really wanting to make a sort of wallet planner combo. I like having my wallet in a passport cover, and so I thought if this would fit into the back, which is what it's designed to do, and it does, it fits, it slides right in there, so perfect. Then I could have my planner back here. I could have an insert in here, or I could put a wallet insert if I wanted a zipper pouch, because I have passport wallet inserts that have zippers for like coins and things like that. I could put a little dashboard with some inspiration. Whatever it is that I wanted, I could put on the elastics. I could put my driver's license and my debit card and all of that there. I could carry a pen to use in my planner, and then my cash back here. And I would have this cute little perfect planner wallet combo. So that's the purpose of my complete Nomad Jr. And those are all of the customizations that I did to create this. Now, like I said, when I ordered this, they didn't offer passport size in the Nomad. If you wanted the Nomad, you had to order the Junior, and then you had to get it adjusted to passport size. Now they are offering a passport size, but I don't know if the dimensions are the same as this. I will double check, and I'll put that in the description box down below. But mine was custom to me and to the measurements that I needed for this planner to fit, for the pen loop to be where I wanted it, for the elastics to be where I wanted them, so that my inserts wouldn't be moving around or pulling and all of that. I will be setting this up and using it for the fourth quarter of 2022, and then I'll be using it in 2023 as well, and I'll be using it as my wallet planner combo. So we'll try to do a little video with you guys and show you guys how I have it all set up. Once I have it set up, I do have a new dashboard coming, and I would really like to put it in here, and so I may wait to set it up until that gets here. But that is my complete Nomad Jr. adjusted to passport size, and I absolutely love it. I think it is adorable, and it is absolutely perfect. Everything fits exactly how I wanted it to fit. All of the measurements that I took worked, and everything that Petra and I talked about worked out perfectly. But now we're going to talk about my A5. So my A5 cover was designed to fit my A5 Wonderland 222 planner system that I am using for my EDC currently. So I had this made and customized specifically for my Wonderland 222 planner system. However, I am not going to be in that planner system in 2023. So I will only be using this for my EDC through the end of the year, and then in 2023 my EDC is going to be back in B6 size, and so I'm going to be using this for a different purpose. So we will talk about that after we go through all the specifics. So like I mentioned, this has Janet Leather Brown on the outside and Velvet Sand on the inside. The strap, once again, is interior and exterior matching my exterior leather. So both sides of the strap are Janet Leather Brown. And just like my passport, I did not opt to change my pen loop leather to match my exterior leather. I think on my passport, the undyed leather peeking out looks really nice actually, especially since I got the Janet Leather undyed stitching. I think that the little pop of undyed leather looks really nice. On this cover, I actually think I might have preferred them to be the Janet Leather Brown. I don't dislike the Velvet Sand, but I think that because I got two pen loops and they're in different sizes, which we'll talk about in a minute, I think it might have looked better if I had gotten the pen loops in the Janet Leather Brown. Also, because Velvet Sand is so easy to mess up because it is that suede finish, I expect that these pen loops might get a little bit messed up as I'm moving pens and highlighters and things in and out. So in hindsight, if I were to do this again and when I make a B6, I probably would get my pen loops in the exterior leather if I was doing a contrasting interior leather, especially if it was Velvet Sand, because I think that it would just look nicer and they would kind of blend and fade away. And I also think that they wouldn't get as messed up. Now on my A5 Codex, I actually had Janet Leather Brown stitching, so there is no contrast stitching, and I chose that because I generally don't like contrast stitching. I think on the passport it just looks really, really cute. But on a larger planner, I prefer to have coordinated stitching that matches, so that the leather itself is what pops and what stands out and you don't notice the stitching. I feel like on the little guy, you actually see the stitching and it kind of takes away from your attraction to the leather or your visual of the leather. So I chose to have the Janet Leather Brown. Lacey, come on, baby. So I chose to have the Janet Leather Brown stitching for the exterior, and I had that same stitching done for the interior because I thought it would look really nice against the velvet sand for the pocket configuration. So Janet Leather stitching outside and inside on this one. Once again, I got no stiffener, so there's no foam in here and there's no Bontex sheet. There is just a frame, which you can't even feel. So this is literally just leather against leather. So the velvet sand leather and the JL leather rubbing against each other. So it's very, very soft. The velvet sand has a lot more structure than the JLBrown. If I had done JLBrown on the inside and outside, this would be even floppier than it is. But I really just don't like stiffeners and other things in my leathers. I just like the leather, and I like being able to get my leather to square off and all of that, and just feeling leather on leather. So no foam and no Bontex sheet, just the frame. I did get the chunky clasp, so it is the A4 clasp. So it is a super chunky clasp, which I absolutely love. I do not like a skinny, slim clasp, so I got the chunkiest clasp option, and I love it. I think it is awesome. I did get an extra pen loop, so I have a pen loop on the left and a pen loop on the right. I did add on the Steve layout to the right hand side, so you'll see that both sides have the same layout. They have the 3 card slots and the 2 horizontal pockets. This is the default layout for the Codex now for the left hand side, and I wanted this layout also on the right hand side. So I did that add-on to have that Steve layout on the right hand side. I did also add a second slip pocket on both sides. So on the right hand side, normally it would just be like this, and this is where you would slip your notebook in, but I had an extra slip pocket added because I like to slip my notebook in here, and then I like to have this pocket to add to keep sticker sheets or papers and things like that, and have them tucked under my planner so that they're kind of tucked away. And so I wanted to have that extra pocket. So I have 2 slip pockets on this side, and then likewise I have 2 slip pockets on this side. I added the second slip pocket on the left hand side, but I had it facing left. So instead of having it where both slip pockets were on this side, I left the original slip pocket the way it was, so I can slip a notebook or a planner or anything inside this side. And then I did a left facing slip pocket here, so I could stick ephemera or stickers or whatever I wanted, and I could get to it easily. So both sides have 2 slip pockets and the Steve layout, but this one, the extra slip pocket is pointing left, whereas this one is lined up against here. I hope that makes sense. I did also make pen loop adjustments. So in addition to having 2 pen loops, as you can see there, my 2 pen loops, I did have them both widened and raised. So I had the pen loops raised to 25% from the top instead of being at 50% from the top. I don't like my pen loops where my strap is, so I had them lifted so that they're in the top 25% of the planner. And then I had them widened. So the right hand pen loop was widened to 17 millimeters based on some of my larger, thicker fountain pens. And then the left hand was widened to only 12 millimeters because generally I carry a mild liner or a highlighter or a brush pen or a Tombow on this side. So my fountain pens or a gel pen would work on this side, which is what I carry over here. So my writing instrument, the one that I actually write down all of my details in my planner, goes on this side always. And then I keep my extra pen or marker on this side. And I change that out depending on my week, what I need for the week. So sometimes it's a brush pen, sometimes it's something to highlight or a dot marker. It just kind of depends on what I want. So this is like my extra decorative pen loop, and this is my functional writing pen loop. I did adjust the height of the A5 Codex because the A5 Codex, the way that it's listed, won't allow a clear cover like a jelly cover to be used on your A5 planner or notebook. And I like to use jelly covers on my planners and notebooks. It lets me add a little bit of decor and a little bit of bling to my planners and notebooks. And so I adjusted the height to allow that so that clear covers could be used on my planners and notebooks. And then I also adjusted the width. And the primary reason that I adjusted the width was because I'm using the combo of a Wonderland 222 A5 planner and their half-year notebook. And so the width adjustment was to accommodate having these two notebooks in here, a full year A5 planner and a half-year notebook. I did not adjust it for a full year planner and a full year notebook because I never carry a full year notebook with my planners. If I carry an extra notebook, it's always a half-year width. So I only adjusted it to fit to that. But the way the Codex comes originally, it wouldn't allow for both of these to fit in there. So I adjusted the width so that it would fit my complete Wonderland 222 system. And then I lengthened the clasp because of that extra width. I had to adjust it so it would close around my notebook and planner. And then I added the two poppers so that at the beginning of the year, when your planner is less thick because you have less stuff in it, you haven't added your washi and your stickers and all the things, I could make it tighter. And then as the year went on, like especially in the fourth quarter of the year when your planner gets super chunky, I could just move it to that second popper and adjust it so that it would accommodate that thickness. And the poppers are made so that you don't see them regardless of which popper you use. So they don't show, the strap covers them. I did have female poppers put on the planner. I don't like having male poppers on this part of the planner. I like the male popper to be on the strap. When a male popper is on this side of the planner and my planner is open, there's like a bump from the male part of the popper, and I don't like that. And I also don't want to risk scratching something that I may have it sitting on, and so I don't like the male on this side. So on both of mine, when I added the extra popper, it was the female on this side and the male went on the strap. I did not add a back pocket to this planner. I don't really like back pockets. I've been using the one in my Moterm Veg Tanned because it's there, but I don't actually really like a back pocket on a planner. I like it on the little passport because I'm using it for cash. But I find that when I have a back pocket, I use the back pocket and I just stick a bunch of junk back there and it just makes my planner even puffier. So I actually just took some papers out here, but I had some papers back there and it just made it even bulkier and even heavier. So there's no back pocket in my A5 Codex. And when I do a B6, there probably won't be a back pocket in that either. Pretty much the only place I would probably get a back pocket is the little passport. So that is my A5 Codex. I did share on my other video, which I will link in the cards and down in the description box below when I first unboxed. I did share how my Wonderland 222 fits in here, and it fits perfectly with the clear cover. So I'm not going to do that again, but I did want to just briefly touch upon my plans for this cover because I got it designed for my A5 Wonderland 222 planner, which I love and I've been using this year, but I really miss B6 size, and I'm going back to B6 size for 2023 with the Sterling Ink Common Planner. Super excited about that. So this cover won't be used for my EDC, but I do have two alternate uses for it. So I am either going to, in 2023, use it for my work planner, which is currently in an April from Chic Sparrow. I use a take a note planner for my work planner and I absolutely love it. And it does get quite chunky once I've been using it. And so I know that it will fit nicely in here, and I could even combine it. Let me get some extra papers that I have in here because this is all work stuff. I could even combine it with a half-year notebook and use that for meeting notes if I needed to. And so I can, oops. Okay, so the doorbell rang and I completely lost track of what I was saying. Okay, we were talking about my work planner. So my initial thought is that for 2023, I'm going to use this cover for my work planner. So I will use it with my Take a Note planner, which I already have on pre-order and I'll share when it comes from Yoseka. And then I may add a half-year Stylogy or something similar to use for meeting notes and brain dump and things like that, like my scratch notes, because the notes that I keep in my planner are like nicely written where I could go back and refer to them and I would know what I was thinking and what I was saying. But sometimes in a meeting or on a phone call, I kind of jot stuff down real quickly and it may not make sense later unless I transcribe it. So I may keep another notebook with it so that I can have like a scratch notebook, and then this is what kind of stays and carries me through and that I would refer to year after year. So that's my first plan, or my first thought, is that I would use my take a note work planner in here, and this would be my cover for my work planner, which I think would be awesome. But if I don't use it like that, or if I change and decide I want to put my work planner in a different cover, then I will use this for something else. Probably journaling. So I'd probably put my journal in here and use it for my journal, or I could even use it for art, but I probably wouldn't do that. I have other covers that I use for art. So most likely for 2023, this cover will be my work planner cover. And then if I decide against that, or I decide to change, then it will be my journal cover. So it will get used for 2023. It's just not going to get used for its original intended purpose. So it won't be carrying my everyday carry because that'll be in B6 size. So like I did kind of mention, I am going to be ordering a B6 planner at some point from VDS as well, because I really love these and I want to get a snap cover B6 closure from them as well. But I'm not going to do it yet. I want to use these and see how I like all of the adjustments that I made, see if there's things I would change if I were to customize another one. And I also want to wait until I actually get my B6 planner for 2023 so I can make sure that the dimensions that I would need to customize it, because I will need to customize it so that it will fit a clear cover or a jelly cover, because I do keep that on my planners, and so I will have to adjust the height. But I want to make sure I don't need to adjust the width to accommodate how I'm going to use my planner. So I'm going to wait on putting in any order for a B6 planner and just kind of see what I need, and also see how I like my customizations so that I can make the perfect B6 planner. But that is my more in-depth video on my VDS A5 Codex and my passport size complete Nomad Jr. Please don't hesitate to comment below if you have any questions about anything that I shared in this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future videos. And don't forget to just scribble.